I think by now we all know that the J-horror craze is at an end. There are probably a few of those crappy Americanized remakes on the horizon still, but thankfully, it seems that soon the only way to get a J-horror fix will be to actually rent a Japanese movie. Well, if you're a fan of the genre, and I am, you'll know who I'm talking about when I say Takashi Miike. And if you're not familiar, then I have a great trick for you to play with a great movie. Here's the trick. If you haven't seen Audition, then you really missed one of the best horror movies ever made, and that's really not an exaggeration. Here's the story. A businessman who lost his wife years ago has decided to put himself back on the market. His kids are older and going off on their own, and he feels like it's time. So, since he's been off the dating scene for so long, he asks a friend what he should do. And since his buddy's in the television industry, he suggests an audition. Why not bring in a few attractive young ladies and see if there are any sparks in an audition setting, and save himself the trouble of taking one lady at a time out to dinner? It just makes sense. Well, during the audition process, our hero finds one lady particularly attractive and begins to date her. And for the most part, this is pretty nice. That is until we see this girl's real life and what it's like. She's not exactly normal, and that's one of the biggest understatements of the century. But back to the trick. Here's a great trick for you to play. And I've done this, and it's one of the funniest things you can do. When you're asked by a friend to recommend a movie, recommend Audition. The first 2/3 of this movie plays like a romance. There's no telegraphing the horror of the last 10 minutes of this movie, which is really part of the greatness of the film. You'll never see it coming, and because what eventually comes is so horrific, the calm makes it seem so much worse. But recommend it as a nice date movie. Then, as your friends relax and enjoy the story of a man looking for romance late in life, they think they're in for a lovely happy ending. And when they get what Audition finally serves up, you're going to get a phone call cursing you up one side and down the other. You know, I've ruined several friendships this way, and honestly, I couldn't stop laughing. Audition earns 4 out of 4 cigars because besides being creepy and freaky, it's a great movie. So until next time, when we'll discuss the other ways to ruin friendships, let's just say closed car and many bean burritos. Remember, you can always find me watching non-friendship ruining movies over at roguecinema.com. And let's agree to meet back here next week where I'll be sitting mostly by myself, reminding you that the best movies are bad movies.